guess there's no doubt that we're still in very much a severe economic problem right now, and there's no real end in sight by basis of all of the intervention the federal government has in our economy. So I was wondering, with the topic of nullification being brought up and being kind of broadcasted nationwide now at this point with your book, is there any examples you can see that would basically allow states using nullification to help improve their own economic situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think,
in terms of industry.
Yeah, my hope is that, you know, when you're in a real economic crisis, people are willing to entertain thoughts they wouldn't have entertained before. I mean, like, for example, people are interested in central banking now. Whereas who the heck? What do you want me to read a book about? Are you kidding me? But now people sort of wonder, what does this thing do? Whereas you know, it would be like saying in 2005, it would be like saying to people, I think this housing thing is, it'd be like saying to a house flipper, I think this is all phony wealth. You know, you really should stop doing. What? You should read Peter Schiff. I should do what? Whereas now they want to read Peter Schiff. Now they want to know what's going on. So what I'm hopeful about is that, in the same way that people are willing to consider that maybe the same wise overlords we are superstitiously taught to consult on the economy, you know, might be wrong about that, and so therefore I've got to. Maybe they're causing the problems. Maybe they are the source of the instability. Well, likewise, maybe people will say, well, gee, look, everything's collapsing. We've got state governments that are also huge, major budget problems across the country. You know, look, the federal government may want to go down in flames, but we in our state are going to try to carve out some remnant of civilized life for our people. And there are going to be a lot of states, including some major states, that I suspect will be willing, I mean, especially a state like Texas, let's say, a big state that no one's going to send tanks into, says, you know, has a charismatic governor who realizes that he will get big political points for standing up and saying, you know what, we're not going to engage in this unfunded mandate or that one, or you can pass this law ordering that we've got to criminalize this or that, but we're not going to devote any resources to it because we don't have them. Yeah, I'd like to see that take place because I think you'd have people, you'd have independents, you'd have diehard left-wingers who would be screaming bloody murder. But, you know, if the money isn't there, the money isn't there. I think a lot of people would realize that what the states would be doing in this case is trying in the midst of a financial tsunami to say, maybe in this state we can escape the worst of it by just saying, no, we are not doing it. We're not doing what you demand of us. I think you'd get a lot of support for this. So I think the ground for nullification is more fertile now than it would be in more prosperous times.
They turned them down last week, said no to the unemployment extended benefits. About how many billion?
Oh, now who is this?
They turned them
Who's they?
Who's the Congress? And they voted against, turned it down, the extended unemployment benefits. It just said flat no. They've been on it for what, 1 or 2 years?
That was back in March. Jim Bunning.
Bunning said no. First time they sent unemployment benefits for people who've been out unemployed for over a year now.
Tom, you said you were writing a new book. You're working on something. Can you give the name or what you think would be the name of that book?
People must think I just don't do anything else other than write books, and they would be correct. I've never met any of my neighbors. I don't know. But actually, the situation was that I was working on this one for a while. This one, it's going to be called Rollback, and we're not talking about rolling back the commies. We're talking about rolling back our own commies. But I was working on that, and then in the middle of it, I said, wait a minute. I can't believe how many states are actually, people are talking about nullification. I never in a million years thought this would come. So I thought to myself, I'm going to do this. This is more sort of right now. This has got to be done. So I decided I would put that one aside for the time being, and then devote myself to this. Now that this is done, I have to hurry up and get back to that one. But that basically is going to be looking at, because here's what I'm afraid of, is that I love these Tea Party people. They're the salt of the earth. But there are so many snake oil salesmen out there who are willing to say to them, I mean, like Dick Morris. I mean, come on. I don't care where you stand on the political spectrum. This is a creepy opportunist who doesn't know the first thing about economics, and he writes a book on it. I mean, it's just that he's an embarrassment, right? And yet he's going giving Tea Party speeches about how we got to take America back. We got to take America back from creeps like Dick Douglas. So I wanted to write a thing about, it's not a matter of we need to replace these people on the gravy train with these other people. Put them on the gravy train. No. How many freaking times do we have to be burned by this? No, this is what we need. I almost call the book Slash and Burn. Because that's really what it should be. I mean, just whatever it is, cut it. And yes, even if people will say, but wait a minute, surely you don't mean, yes, I do. But wouldn't that, yes, I think it might. But again, the money's not there, and we're facing according to Richard Fisher of the Dallas Fed, $100 trillion in unfunded liabilities for which no provision has been made, and they're still spending and spending and spending. So the book is basically going through all the things that just need to be cut. And basically anything you could think of that I would possibly say, it's in there. And then what do we do? I mean, what are people going to do? What are vulnerable people going to do? And the answer is, we Americans have to take care of each other now. Because we realize that there is no fairy who's going to come down, no government fairy is going to come down and make everything right and give it. The government fairy has nothing in her pockets anymore. So who's going to take care of people? It's going to have to be us, right? I mean, we have to, on your street, you find somebody who is in need, you help them. There's somebody who doesn't know how to read, you teach them how to read. If you're a lawyer and you can give pro bono services to people who need it, do that. If you're a physician and you have talents that you can use in your off hours, then use them. This is the only way. There is no substitute. So the sooner we have a grown-up response to this and we realize that we have to take this into our own hands in our own communities, the better off we'll be. So that's basically what it is.
You got the number one guy sitting in there trying to do exactly.
I know. So it is an uphill battle indeed.
Tom, kind of branching off from your point that you
and I think this has to be the last one, so I think I have to go.
You were referring to helping out your community and making it very much an individual helping other individuals. So what would be your number one recommendation to a people, a citizenry, that could potentially be facing $70 a gallon oil, higher taxes than we've ever seen before, and essentially, along with the economic plight that you already mentioned, are facing some very dire times. So what would be your best recommendation for individuals who want to see change but feel a little bit helpless?
Well, that's what to do for people's individual pocketbooks and household situations. I really don't know. I know people who have got some good ideas. I think on financial things, I think Gary North has a lot of good ideas. You have to be a member to read a lot of his best articles on his website, GaryNorth.com. But he's very smart, so I'd prefer people there. But I would like to see a kind of Craigslist thing created whereby, we're in a very desperate situation, and you're right. I mean, prices of major things could be going up, and employment is not really improving the way it should, except when we have a census. Then we employ each other to count each other up. But I would like to see something whereby people advertise what their talents are, and so that there is this sort of biblical idea of shared gifts, and that's the terms in which we need to think now. Well, what are the gifts that you bring to the table that you can share? And I realize this kind of sounds kind of loopy liberal, right? But there's nothing wrong with sharing in principle, as it's voluntary. And you say, look, this is what I can do. What can you do? And somehow people find each other. We have the internet. Exactly, right. And we all find each other. And incidentally, when you do this, you also help to starve the beast a little bit, because although technically you are supposed to pay income tax on the estimated value of a barter exchange, I think you could probably get away with that. Even though I'm saying this on camera, but I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just saying I suspect you could get away with not saying anything about it. But anyway, that's that.
Thank you
fun
for
talking,
talking.
guys.